Ocean warming is the absorption of excess heat emitted from the greenhouse gas effect. Now, in order to simulate the atmospheric threshold for heat, we have blown up this balloon with air, obviously, that represents the atmosphere. Now, the lighter will represent the heat emitted from the sun and then from greenhouse gases. The balloon popped because the air inside could not withstand the amount of heat given off, and therefore all the heat was transferred to the balloon and towards melting the rubber, causing it to pop. Now, I'll demonstrate with water inside the balloon to represent the oceans. See that the balloon isn't popping, even after having the lighter under the balloon for quite a while. Here's evidence to show you that it is just water inside the balloon. This is actually very surprising, demonstrating the fact that oceans can handle around 1,000 times more heat than the atmosphere, and regularly absorbing over 90% of the heat emitted from carbon emissions. Water, having such a high heat capacity and absorbing 90% of the heat, shows just how serious it is when the average surface temperature of the ocean is beginning to rise at such a dramatic rate as stated before.
Ocean warming is caused by the greenhouse gases in the surrounding environment. These greenhouse gases are produced by the carbon emissions from factories as well as thousands of car engines. The ocean absorbs all of these gases and in turn increases the temperature. With the ocean's temperature turning up exponentially, marine life like seals, sharks, coral reefs, turtles, dolphins, and so many more won't be able to adjust and adapt to the new environment, causing many of them to migrate or unfortunately die a miserable death. This also affects us as humans because almost 1/3 of our food supply comes from marine life as seafood. Just try to imagine that impact. I mean, that's a change from an A+ to a D. The weather is also getting absolutely wrecked by the ocean warming because the hotter the ocean gets, the hotter the climate gets, making it more difficult to adjust to this new climate, resulting in heat strokes, death, and lots of sadness. This also means more greenhouse gases for the ocean to absorb, repeating this unhelpful heat cycle. Long-term effects include the disruption of ecosystems in the coastal area due to the death and migration of multiple animals due to ocean warming and inability to adapt to the new environment. Short-term effects from ocean warming also include hurricanes, thunderstorms, and other rainstorms that can result from the excess water vapor in the atmosphere, which can cause permanent damage when debris is thrown into surrounding area and buildings.
Now, as the effects of the greenhouse gas effect worsen over time, the significant impacts to the world's and ocean's temperatures are evident in the graph shown. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, gave a graph detailing the extreme rise in average global sea surface temperature. All the area from 700 meters below the surface of the sea can be considered as the sea surface temperature that we are measuring, which surprisingly absorbs over 90% of all the heat released by carbon emissions. As shown in the graph, from the year 1880 all the way to the 1940s, the average sea surface temperature has had an anomaly or change of about negative 0.5 degrees Celsius. However, as the decades went on, especially within the last century, the mean temperature change has increased by 0.13 Celsius, a major warming period for our oceans and the atmosphere. This may not sound so much now, but in the graph it shows just how extreme of a change this is. Now, one may argue that why is everyone making such a big deal out of a less than 1 degree Celsius change in temperature? After all, our own weather ranges change on a regular basis of a few degrees at a time. The problem is that the global average temperature of the oceans is the one we are measuring, which is on a way bigger scale than any individual province. Because of the size of the Earth, a change in average temperature in the oceans, whether be only a few decimals, has drastic effects on our climate. And even 1 degree change in temperature will have an enormous amount of heat to cause such a change. In the past, a drop of merely 5 degrees Celsius was able to bring a portion of North America under ice.
As humans continue to deplete the world of its resources, the pollution and gas emissions from our everyday activities continue to diminish the benefits we receive from the ocean. We've become too dependent on the usage of fossil fuels, and as a result, the ocean absorbs the excess heat produced from the emission of greenhouse gases. The increase in ocean temperature results in the loss of many marine lives as well as their breeding ground, and results in their increase of their mortality rate. Big marine protection organizations can help with the protection and restoration of marine and coastal ecosystems, which play a significant role as there is a dire need for the regulation of human activities near such vicinities. Artificial corals can also be set up, providing new species new homes apart from their destroyed ones. Limitations like preventing the vandalization of corals and human activity near such ocean habitats can all contribute to prevent further damage. Furthermore, before this problem gets out of hand, the government needs to dedicate their time, energy, and finances towards strengthening our ocean warming research by conducting more studies. Only by investing in more ocean warming research and finding more practical solutions can we help towards alleviating this problem.